Technology.
Yes.
Nothing worked this morning, by the way. I was trying to print everything out, and we just have those days, right? And all right, so good to see everyone. A married couple had a quarrel and ended up giving each other the silent treatment. 2 days into their mute argument, the man realized he actually needed his wife's help. In order to catch a flight to Chicago for a business meeting, he had to get up at 5 a.m. Not wanting to be the first to break the silence, he wrote on a piece of paper, "Please wake me up at 5 a.m." So she took the paper and nodded in the affirmative. The next morning, the man woke up only to discover his wife was already out of bed, and it was 9 a.m., and he had missed his flight. He was just about to go tell her off when he noticed a note by the bed in his wife's handwriting that read, "It's 5 o'clock, wake up." Yes, relationships are perhaps one field of human experience where we are tested the most, where the plentiful rewards are often accompanied by challenges just as plentiful. And yet, as social creatures, drawing meaning within and from interactions with others, we need others with whom to dream of a better world and with whom to build it. We need others to help us not only to clarify our own values in front of a supportive community like the youth in this morning's first service, but to live out our values with those who may share them with us. We need others with whom to celebrate our accomplishments and mourn our sorrows. The ancient Greeks left us with the aphorism, "Know thyself," in essence, to know thy measure. I guess I can say that I've been on a journey of getting to know myself on a deeper level, to become more aware of how I'm showing up in the world, in the community. It is said that awareness is the beginning of transformation, and I believe this wholeheartedly. I've also come to the belief that human beings are defined by the relationships we nurture and the ones we neglect. It has been said that how we show up in the world is but a reflection of our inner selves, our inner lives. How we treat others is a reflection of how we really feel about ourselves. We have all heard it, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." We know this as the golden rule, the maxim of reciprocity. That is, to treat others as you yourself would want to be treated. Love others as you would love yourself. Now, I've talked about this before. You may have heard it in one of my sermons, where I suggest that the platinum rule, which in my opinion is far better. It is where we treat others the way they want to be treated and love them the way they want to be loved. The emphasis here is not on someone else deciding how I should be treated, loved, etc. This is the important distinction. Under the platinum rule, when we treat others the way they want to be treated, we acknowledge the mystery of each being we encounter and recognize that being's complete agency. The golden rule teaches us the importance of good intentions and goodwill, but falls short otherwise. Besides all that, there are people in our world today, and you've heard me say it, who abuse, mistreat, and literally loathe themselves. And if they do unto us as the golden rule prescribes, like they do unto themselves, you get the point. If we let others decide how they will love us, treat us, and respect us, then they will never truly know us as we really are, in the ways we want to be known. And this can also set us up for conflict. Now, as a minister, I get to see up close the reality of the human condition. And what I've seen is that in general, people are not fully content or genuinely happy across just about every demographic. I've wondered how dissatisfaction and dislike of oneself and one's life exhibits itself on a macro level, say regionally, nationally, and even globally. Could the recent breakdowns in our society and across the globe be attributed to individuals disliking themselves or their lives to the degree that makes it easier for them to dislike or even hate their neighbors and fellow citizens? I'll ask again, could the recent breakdowns in our society and across the globe be attributed to individuals disliking themselves or their lives to the degree that it makes it easier for them to dislike others, hate others, including their neighbors and fellow citizens? Author and physician Dr. Dean Ornish, in his book, Love and Survival, contends, quote, "Our survival depends on the healing power of love, intimacy, and relationships, physically, emotionally, spiritually, as individuals, as communities, as a country, as a culture, and perhaps even as a species," end quote. And I don't believe that I am overstating the importance of the notion that one cannot fully, or shall I say correctly, love one another if one doesn't have mature love for oneself. And I'll repeat that. I am not overstating the importance of the notion that one cannot fully or correctly love another if one doesn't have a mature love for oneself. Now, you can nod to that one, amen, if you know what I'm saying. No, amen, just nod. It's okay. Is it all right? I'm not trying to convert this service to the traditional service, so you can just nod. So, I'm aware that for some of us, learning to love oneself could be quite a challenge. Maybe we have a poor self-image due to some childhood trauma, or we were told by someone that we would never amount to anything, or that our skin color, gender, nationality, or ability level makes us less than. And surely we know that a rigid theology that teaches us that we are all born of sin and worthy of death and hell is not helpful when it comes to loving oneself. You can nod it there too if you want. But loving ourselves shouldn't be a difficult thing. Shouldn't be a difficult thing to do at all, because we all seek and want that. And it is in our ability to love. Philosopher and poet Khalil Gibran once uttered, "Love. It surrounds every being and extends slowly to embrace all that shall be," end quote. We must be awakened to the understanding that love is innate to us and is ever present. Author and spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle talks about love as a state of being. He says, quote, "Your love is not outside of you. It is deep within you. You can never lose it, and it can never leave you. It is not dependent on some other body, some external form. We just need to cultivate, activate, and demonstrate it," end quote. In some of my relationship work with couples in conflict, I usually begin by encouraging them to look inwardly and identify and examine their own internal world individually. I seldom will address the relationship itself as much as I do the individual's view of the self within the relationship, because I contend that we're often first in conflict with parts of ourselves, and thus with others by default. We are mostly in contact with the part of us that is being reflected back to us from the ones we are interacting with or in relationship with. Now hear me out. I'm going to go a little deeper. Someone who feels overwhelmingly negative about themselves may appear insecure, fearful, or angry, and it may seem that they don't like you or don't like someone. But perhaps it's not that they don't like a person or like you. Maybe it is that they don't like who they become when they are with you. Maya Angelou once said, I learned that, quote, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel, end quote. Bishop Carlton Pearson has often stated that when we lose someone we love, we don't miss them as much as we miss the part of ourselves that existed when they were alive. Indeed, we miss them, we do miss them, but we also miss the people we were when we were with them. We miss that part of us. And we will seek out people, situations, or communities that allow for us to be the people we enjoy or prefer being. The people or communities that make us laugh, that make us feel good about who we are, that enable us to express our best selves are the ones we will choose to be in and with. Think about who we want to be as a religious community here and why people may choose to join us or not. I will tell you, if they came in and everyone was frowning and looking at them sideways, they wouldn't feel so welcome. And the same principles, unfortunately, work just as well in other types of communities where people may find acceptance but aren't set on making the world a better place for all. We have seen this with the rise of hate groups in our nation, who, while providing their members with a sense of meaning and belonging, thrive on destructive energy that comes from the competitive, separatist, false superiority, and often fear-based mindset. And I recognize that for some, this might be a result of resentment or might stem from some past hurt, trauma, or indiscretions. But this is what we have been witnessing in our society. A bunch of people with crowded spaces and crowded lives in conflict, going through life with the inability and unwillingness to actually hear, see, or affirm another. But we can begin to experience ourselves and other people positively by having a reserved and uncrowded space for them to reflect themselves on. And this is how it works. I hold space for you to reflect off of me. And you hold space for me to reflect what I need. We do this by being fully present. First, by being fully present, non-judging, forgiving, understanding, and patient. Creating space means that others can express themselves and safely be their whole authentic selves in your presence. Seeing them as they want to be seen rather than how you, through biases and judgment, may perceive them. We must continue to create these clearing spaces. Let it become a spiritual practice. And I'll say more about it in just a bit. The key then is by striving to be fully present and being awakened, aware, cognizant of the space we create for ourselves and for others. We experience a sense of renewal when this happens. And try it for yourself. I want you to imagine. Now, it may not be easy to find, but hopefully you can bring to mind a moment and a situation with you or a friend or a loved one when there was no competition and no judgment at all. As you recall this encounter, this person's presence, do you notice that your guard been let down? There's no defensiveness. Do you notice that there's nothing between that space? Can you recognize, see the safe space in which you both were able to create peace and harmony and understanding? And I'll give you an example here in a little bit. It is possible to experience an awakening in this life through realizing just how precious each moment, each mental process, and each breath truly is. Awakening is not changing who you are, but discarding who you are not. It is knowing that you are a light that cannot darken. You are a soul that shines through. You are an eternal. You are eternal amid the moment. You are awakening. You are love. The task then is not to seek love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Now, this season is a time of renewal, of awakening, and of hope. And as nature, at least in this hemisphere, is waking up from its winter slumber, and after a few very difficult years leading to a hopefully less traumatic one, in which we are in, hopefully. We need to come to the realization that we too must awaken to new ways of being. We must start cultivating new ways of walking through life for our relationships and communities to be strong and connected. We need to create conditions that can transform us, conditions that empower people to move in the world with confidence, to walk through life with a sense of being wanted by others and by life. We must create and reserve space in our lives for ourselves, first for ourselves. This is where we take the time to connect with ourselves spiritually and emotionally. And Marlon was talking to me because I've been so busy lately. And he was telling me about how important it is for me to take the time to meditate, to pray, or whatever I wanted to do, but to center myself. And I've been struggling with that, like many of you, no doubt. If we don't take wholesome, restorative, renewing time for ourselves, how will we have wholesome, restorative, renewing time for anyone else? For your partner, for your family? We have been with those with whom we have felt total freedom to be ourselves, and we just have opportunity to unload. Now, we will tell them anything, just about anything. You've heard it said that when you're with someone that has created space, they start telling you everything. You said to yourself, I don't know why I'm talking to you and telling you everything about me. Why am I? I would never do that. Because they created a space for you to actually share your soul. Sometimes I am really busy, so I got to tell a little bit about myself. I got his permission. Well, he consented. So, talking about how busy I was in the last week, my partner said something, Dimitri, he said something snarky. So I let it ride. Didn't say nothing, I just let it ride. I'm going to keep my cool. So a few days passed and he said something smart again. Now I could have easily said, what's wrong with you? But I know that if I said that, those are fighting words. What do you mean what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Right? Am I talking to somebody right now? Ain't nothing wrong with me. What's wrong with you? But then I've started learning not to say what's wrong, and I teach couples this as well. I ask the question, what's missing? What's missing? Ain't nothing missing. Nothing at all, he said. So this time, I created a visible clearing. I was lying down, I sat up, I looked him straight in the eyes, and I said, what's missing? That's the clearing. That's the space. Unfiltered. Present. I said, what's missing? It was a long pause. He just unloaded. I put a little emphasis on that, okay? He doesn't do it like that. That's more me. But he did unload. I'm like, but what I realized, what he was wanting to convey was, I want to feel good about myself. I want you to reflect the love that I need back to me. I want to see in your eyes that I am worthy of your time, that I'm worthy of your love. That's what it boiled down to after all the complaints. And I heard. So I'm being really intentional about quality time. So if we can clear ourselves, we can then observe and absorb. That's what's happening in our world right now. No one has space to listen, to clear, and to be present with those that they probably don't like. Maybe it's not about how they like them at all. Maybe it's about how they feel about themselves. We can become a safe place where people can come and find acceptance while learning to love themselves. It's a way for them to see themselves in you. They must find in us an available emptiness which allows them the liberty to explore aspects of themselves that are feeling, loving, and self-affirming. If we open ourselves to this clearing, we open ourselves to the possibility of transformation. We can strive to be agents of light in this world, offering love and compassion to all those we encounter. May we begin to see clearly ourselves and others as they are, as they want to be seen. May we be awakened, energized, and renewed, knowing that we are a marvelous expression and conscious awareness of one thrilling, brilliant, universal web that connects us all. May it be so. I'm going to dance off.